The 1500s, a golden age of exploration, discovery, and apparently rampant bacterial infections. Who wouldn't want to live in an era where people died from things like the flux and the sweats after a stroll through a filthy, disease-riddled city? No Wi-Fi, no Netflix, and certainly no antibiotics. But hey, at least you could catch typhoid in style. Typhoid fever made its grand entrance in the 1500s, spreading like a bad reputation at a royal banquet. It wasn't just a casual infection, it was a full-on health crisis, causing high fevers, nausea, abdominal pain, and, because no epidemic is complete without some drama, diarrhea. It was like nature's way of saying, why settle for one symptom when you can have them all? Hygiene was, let's say, suboptimal. Water was contaminated, cities were filthy, and the idea of sanitation was a distant dream. Typhoid bacteria thrived in this environment, hitching rides on contaminated water and food. The people of Europe, blissfully unaware of germs, thought a quick dip in the local river or a hearty mug of ale was enough to hydrate them, never realizing both were bacterial smorgasbords. While peasants were dropping like flies, the upper classes fared slightly better, but not immune. Nobles lived in more sanitary quarters, but that didn't always save them. Mary, Queen of Scots, is rumored to have died from typhoid in 1587, proving even royalty wasn't safe from this unruly bacterium. For those unlucky enough to get typhoid, the experience wasn't just miserable, it was dramatic. First came the fever, then the chills, followed by intense abdominal pain and diarrhea that could make even a medieval jester cringe. And of course, death often followed, especially without modern medicine or antibiotics. It was less of an epidemic and more of an ongoing public spectacle, where the Great Typhoid Incident of 1554 was likely more prestigious than it had any right to be. Looking back, it's easy to laugh at how 16th century people could miss something as obvious as germs. But they were just doing their best with what they knew, something we, of course, would never mess up in the age of high-speed internet and hand sanitizer. The 1500s typhoid epidemic was a reminder that in a world without germ theory, people were at the mercy of bacteria lurking in their food and water. Typhoid wasn't as famous as the plague or smallpox, but it still did its job, wiping out lives without much fanfare. People suffered, people died, and they probably wondered why their local tavern smelled like a mud puddle and a latrine. But eventually it passed, leaving behind a little bad taste in history's mouth. So here's to the 1500s, a time when washing your hands could have saved you from an unpleasant fate. But who could have known that then?